off because you don't want any paint flaking off and going into the engine. It's going to get in your oil and get sucked up, and it's probably not going to... It's been a while since I've actually done one of these, and quite a few's happened. I think it's been about 2 years since I actually filmed the last episode, not posted, but filmed. The black car I was working on, totaled it, rolled it, so that's gone. I have gotten a new car since then. It's a 2000 Focus ZX3, and behind me here I actually have the engine from that little vehicle that was wrecked. I just got it back about a week ago from the machine shop. I took it to Gun Automotive up in Denver, and they did a fantastic job honing out the cylinders for the new pistons, resurfacing the deck, and doing quite a few things to it. So very, very happy with the work they've done, and very reasonable pricing as well. So I've got the block here. What we're going to do today is mask it off and get it ready for paint. So I'm going to walk you through on how to paint your engine block. Since I've got this fresh example here, I did have to get it back on the engine stand, so the back of it I've already masked off, but we're going to go ahead and do the rest. I'm going to show you the proper steps to make sure you get everything sealed off. You don't want to get any paint inside the engine. Otherwise it's going to dry, it's going to flake off sometime during your operation, get inside your oil, and you're going to have a couple problems. So we're going to go through those steps here in just a moment. So when you paint your engine, there are quite a few surfaces that things are bolting to that you're going to have gaskets on. Those are the parts you're going to want to make sure that you have masked off. Everything else is what you're going to be actually wanting to paint, and so you can visibly see it. But big surfaces like the front here, this is where the water pump and oil pump mount to. Lots of gaskets, lots of moving parts here. You do not want to get any paint here, especially here on the top where the cylinder head's going to bolt onto it. You've got your gaskets, you don't want to get any paint there. And anywhere on the side of the block too, where you've got bolt holes, you're going to want to make sure that you mask all that stuff off. You don't want any paint getting in there. Now for small areas, kind of like this PCV vent here, you can use just tape to mask that off. On bigger areas like the top, you're going to want to put tape on around the edge, and then use paper in the middle to fill it up. But I'm going to show you all that here and take you through the steps. now that I've got my engine block all masked off, I've got the underside done, I've got everything all ready to go. Now I've got my Ford Blue engine enamel. And before you do any painting, always make sure to test it, make sure you're going to get the correct color. I did this on the license plate, but I also sprayed it on that black surface that's going to be the same as the engine, so I know exactly how it's going to look. Now we're good to paint the engine. And that's pretty much all there is to painting your engine block. Most of the time and effort you're going to put into it is cleaning and actually masking the block off and getting it ready for paint. The actual paint portion is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes depending on how your block is. This engine enamel goes on really thick. It's a really great paint. There's really not much prep work to the actual paint itself. But it goes on pretty easy and usually with a really good finished product. The engine is all finished now. I've got all the masking tape taken off. Now this is it's a very brittle paint. It's not your typical paint, so it does not flex. So once you're done painting the engine, you're going to want to take off all of the masking tape relatively quickly, but the engine block does take about 7 days to cure depending on the type of paint that you use. So you really don't want to be mounting a bunch of accessories or touching the paint until it does fully cure after 7 days. You want to give plenty of time. But it turned out really well, and I definitely did over mask the engine, and I did that on purpose. But I wanted all of these areas to be nice and flat and exposed. I didn't want any paint in between the engine block and where the accessories were going to bolt onto it. So I did mask all that off. Not everyone does that. So it's just kind of up to you. I also made sure to block off the freeze plugs because, you know, if you can paint them, you know, you can have issues with that. So I also think it looks a little nicer with them being silver like that. But yeah, the engine is all finished and it looks fantastic.